I woke up with a fire in my soul, a vision burning bright, a goal to control. The road ahead ain't always clear, but I'm stepping forward, no room for fear. Each stair I climb, a lesson learned. From every fall, a lesson earned. The mind is a weapon, sharp and true. I'm forging ahead, there's nothing I can't do. Think and grow rich, that's the plan. With every step, I take a stand. Climbing the staircase of my dreams, fueled by the power of my schemes. Mind-focused heart on the rise. Achievement is the price I prize. Step by step I'm reaching high, tuning my mindset to touch the sky. The journey's tough, but I won't quit. I've got the drive, I've got the grit. Each level up, a new horizon, a world of possibilities in motion. I'm sharpening my thoughts, aligning my will, turning obstacles into hills I can climb still. The power of belief, it's on my side. With every breath I'm fortified. I'm not just dreaming, I'm in the fight, turning the night into the light. Think and grow rich, that's the plan. With every step, I take a stand. Climbing the staircase of my dreams, fueled by the power of my schemes. Mind-focused heart on the rise. Achievement is the price I prize. Step by step I'm reaching high, tuning my mindset to touch the sky.
So hello and good morning, everyone. Good morning, really early on the West Coast. Thank you for being here. And oh gosh, it is 11 o'clock at night in China, and it's about 5 or 6 across the pond. So welcome, I'm Leslie Flowers, and this is the ongoing series, Think and Grow Rich, Principles, Leadership, and Laws. And I'm so happy to see you all coming in. Hello, Linda. Hello, Lisa. Leigh Scheidel is here, and she's dropped in the YouTube link. In case you have problems staying in the live stream on LinkedIn, you can catch it over on YouTube. Absolutely. So excited to see you all here. Josh Onley is here. It's a couple hours earlier for you, Josh. Thank you so much for being here. Leanna from Duluth, Minnesota, and Kimberly Lechnick first in the room to get that front row seat, I'm guessing, from Chicago, Illinois. And we will be welcoming other people. Hi, Linda and Lisa. As you come in, I'm Leslie Flowers. And this particular study is focused around 100 years ago, when Think and Grow Rich, the #2 bestseller of all times, was published by Napoleon Hill. And over the last 100 years or so, it's a little less than 100, most all your personal development greats and many people not in personal development used Think and Grow Rich, because Napoleon Hill spent 20 years tracking 500 of our most successful, happy, healthy, and wealthy citizens and interviewed them repeatedly over those 2 decades at the behest of Andrew Carnegie to find out what those people were doing that the rest of us missed. So most everything that we want to know is already here. Right? So it's just a matter of when we stumble across it, when it becomes clear to us. You know, there's a new study in Toronto from Toronto University that says that we are bombarded with 6,000 complete thoughts a day, which comes into our conscious mind through our 5 senses. That's a lot. And even the relevant ideas, sometimes we have to say, could you say that to me another way? Could you ask me that question a different way? Because with our filters and our lives being so unique to one another, we don't always understand. So the idea of Think and Grow Rich, why do I do this over and over and over again? I ran my program for 65 business quarters. I've done this here for several years. I've done it on Facebook. Well, why do I do that? I do it because what I know is that we learn through repetition, which is the fourth principle of success, which is auto-suggestion. Through repetition is how we learn, and it embeds, and we have perfect faith in it, positive or not. Now, today's topic is the subconscious mind. And when this was written, Napoleon Hill only knew about the subconscious, right? We hadn't, it was, 1920, 1925, maybe as far as 1930. They didn't know there were two minds. But isn't that how it always goes? The information is here. It just takes someone to figure it out, own it, and then apply it. And that's what I want for you, my friends. So I'm going to sing you a song from the 50s. And I like to keep the references as much as I can, the backgrounds. If you look here, oops, that's not what I wanted to do. Let me remove this so I can show you. So see, the background is the 1930s New York downtown. And the reason I do this, my friends, is because by the time I realized my grandparents were a treasure trove of information, once I realized that, then they were gone. So the music from the 20s, 30s, 40s, and 50s, this is the music that Napoleon Hill was listening to, that Andrew Carnegie was listening to, and I don't want us to lose it. So here's one that is a little tough for me to sing, I will admit, but I absolutely love it, and I hope you love it too. And welcome. Hello, Omar. Hello, Lotus King. So good to see you. Sharon Rose Winfield is here. Okay, great. So we're going to get started here in just a minute. And here we go. Let's see if my voice holds out for this one. So now you say you're lonely. You cry the whole night through. Well, you can cry me a river. Cry me a river. Lord knows I've cried a river over you. Oh, now you say you're sorry for being so untrue. Well, you can cry me a river, cry me a river, 'cause I cried a river over you. You drove me nearly crazy out of my head, while you never shed one tear. Remember, I remember all the things that you said. You told me love was too plebeian, told me you were through with me, and now you say you love me. Oh, just to prove that you do, come on and cry me a river. cried me a river, as I cried a river over you. Isn't that pretty? Hey, Dr. Marcia. Hello, Afua. Julie London sang that song, and I want to say it's in the 50s, and I forgot to look. I think it's 1953. So let me see who's here. I'm so excited. If you've just joined us, I am Leslie Flowers, and you are at session 10 of Napoleon Hill's Think and Grow Rich: Principles, Leadership, and Laws, which is my program. I've spent 25 years in personal development, 20 years studying the principles of success in universal law. And so what? Well, for over 65 business quarters, I took people through 12-week masterminds with my program, which now includes everything in this program. And we have documented 500 client goals achieved. So the work is here. All you really need to do is get clear on the process that gave you what you have today, just in case you want something else. If you're not happy with your job, all we really need to do is to understand the process, the patterns of thinking that caused that in the first place. And that's the work that I've been doing. And I'm happy to say I have 14 books, and this is number 14 right here. This published, was it this week? It was. It was published this week by our sponsor, Guiding Brilliant Writers Publishing Company, LLC. This is volume 2 and the 9th anthology of contributing stories done by Nicole Angay-Galindo, who is the founder and publisher. Now, this is a book about stories about people who had things that looked like were stigmas. And it's about overriding your stigmas and looking at those things as gifts, which I've always said, people that are neurodivergent always show up for me as geniuses. I didn't understand why, but my thinking is that if we were missing something, nature abhors a vacuum, so God wouldn't leave it empty. He'd fill it up with something good. And so every one of these people that have written in volume 1 and now volume 2 have overcome the diagnosis, turned the stigma into a strength, and have done things that your average person are afraid to do. So maybe that special something has to do with genius and doing something quite extraordinary. So, all right, let's see if we have any comments coming in. You can see all the comments on the side here. And Adrian is here. Hi, Adrian. Adrian, thank you so much for being here. Adrian Gergich is up in New England, and she is certified to help people with diabetes. No, is that right? No. Sorry, Adrian is in data processing and is a writer, also has a beautiful balance in her life with writing poetry and working in the digital world. It's Leanna Stock, who does pictures and also helps people with diabetes. Now, don't ask me why. Right? Thank you, Joshua. Joshua, you said I did good. So let me just tell you a tiny bit about Josh Onley. It's so good to see you, Joshua. The reason I am singing is really thanks to Joshua. So I guess about 2.5 years ago, I think that's right, Joshua, 2 years ago, Noni Virani had started running a 9 p.m. Eastern Friday night karaoke sing-along. And that is where I met Josh. Now, who knew that Joshua is friends with the Beatles, right? This is no secret that he's a master musician. He helps people with, he uses music as therapy, very well known in the music industry, has albums, songs, and we got to singing during the karaokes, and that's how we connected. So because of you, Joshua, I have 2 shows a week, and up until last week, I have sung a song at the beginning of both lives. Now, I stopped doing the one on Monday because I realized I had guest teachers coming in, and the show is really about them, not me. So I'm very happy to sing one song for you and thank you that you got, that I practiced this many times. And I hope you thought I was singing to you, Joshua, and anyone else, not just you, Josh. So thank you so much for being here. I can't tell you what it means to me. We've had so many wonderful conversations. Okay, so you're going to ask questions. Today is about the subconscious mind. So let's get going here. And let me get to this new thing I made. Oh, yeah, see, I kind of fixed this. So I'm here, the chat is here, and the board is here. So I don't know. I was trying to figure out a way. Thank you, Mudasar, for being here. You're a new friend, and I will get to know you. Please, let's connect. Okay? So here we go. First, a big shout out to our sponsor, which is Guiding Brilliant Writers Publishing House. Let me flip on that banner. If you have ever wanted to write a book or in a book, let me get this to the right banner. There we go. If you ever wanted to do that, but you were thinking to yourself, I'm not a very good writer. I did a couple of compositions in high school. I got C's. Maybe I even got a B, but gosh, I'm no writer and it's just too much for me. I'm sure I won't do well. Well, you got to meet this woman, Nicole Angai Galindo, and we know her as Nick. She just published this book, the one I just showed you this week, which is her 9th anthology. Anthologies are contributory books. You are a best-selling co-author, okay? And most every one of her books hits #1 in at least one category, but that's not good enough for her. She doesn't count at #1 unless you have 2 or 3 categories, because she's a stickler on acknowledging real greatness. And so she wants to create something that will hold for us forever. And so that's this book. It's available now in paperback or digital. And then the next one is coming out this month. It's called Between Bells, and that's a group of high school students that aren't as connected on the internet. I think they're in STEM and they're really bright. And this Between Bells is, I spend more time studying, is the experiences in high school with learning. So I'm really excited to read this one. And then for you guys, if you have a guy, Men, Money, and Mindset is going to come out this fall. And right now it's a call for authors. So you write one chapter and Nicole will help you. So we're grateful for Nicole for sponsoring Think and Grow Rich Principles, Leadership, and Laws. And if you like the intro, and you'll see the outro, that was done by Soul Media Live Productions and Aaron Gibson, a gifted genius for knowing another person's soul well enough to do what he did for me, which is to create an intro and outro that is a reflection of my soul. He also did the intro, which I use for both, for Mind Over Matter Mondays. So connect with Nick on LinkedIn. There's a company page, and we will move right on with a tribute to both of you for helping to make this show one that people enjoy coming to each week. All righty. We go to Jay Trivedi. She's still #1. Yes, she is, Jay. She absolutely is. Yes, this anthology is amazing. It truly is. It's been such a, when there's a whole bunch of new writers, this is my 14th book. So, I'm kind of old. And so I've been writing since 2009 when I published my first book. So I've had years to be part of anthologies, to write my own books, etc. Plenty of time. And so now it's a collection for me, but I can't tell you, it's the same thing as when it's your first time. There's a whole bunch of first-time writers. When you become a #1 best-selling author in any category, you'll have it all your life, right? So no one can take it away from you. This book is your $5 business card. People don't use business cards as much now. Just take a copy of my book. The author's copies are about $5 or $6, depending on if there's color or not. So, and I remember once, and then I won't say any more. Oh, that's right. Father's Day is on Sunday. Diagnose your dad and send him this book. Now, I was going to share with you that one day years ago in 2014 was my bestseller in Women in Business, my solo book, Champion 21st Century Women, Guardians of Wealth and Legacy. And I got a call from someone on the West Coast years ago, and she said, I want to copy your book. I said, oh, okay, I'll tell you where to go to get it. I said, where are you? She said, I'm in my doctor's office in the lobby, and somebody left your book here. And I started reading it. They called my name, and I wanted to call you really quickly so I could get a copy of this. We never know, do we? Anything can happen in a few days. So, yeah. Oh, I think they should be in all libraries, too. We have 𝘕𝘠𝘠𝘠 Trivedi here. Amazing human being. All right. And then this one will be releasing this fall. This one is releasing this month. So keep your eye out. We're sharing it. All right. So this is our agenda for today. We're going to look at the 7 mantras. These are affirmations, mantras, character building creations, generations with your thoughts, with as much love as when you pray. Because the trick to manifestation and having the things you want, the pattern, the process is wrapped up with what we're going to talk about today. So the subconscious mind and the conscious mind, you will then know what you need to be thinking to make the changes you want. We hear about the brain all the time, and it does this and that and everything, and we hear about the nervous system and the vagus nerve and the body, but without mind, we don't know exactly which patterns to follow with our thought process to make those changes, to create the chemical cocktails that has your brain create new neural pathways, that has your body react when there's danger, that you are able to calm down your own nervous system by what you're thinking. The direction you tell yourself to think affects the vibration. So conventional training, your therapist, your psychologist, your neuro geeks, all of them, they have no clue. They collapse mind and brain together. And so that's why I do this work, because not understanding the power of the mind, and by the way, that is the number one belief of all philosophers since we've been recording history. What you think about, you become. It is not a good thing to collapse together mind and brain. Now, I understand that if you've never been taught and your teachers never taught you, but I would have to ask that if it's been around for 100 years since Thomas Troward in mental science, the process of the mind and visualization, why isn't it in universities? So it's a really big missing, the presence of which would give us all and all patients the ability to manage much of our own care. Because what are your therapists doing? They're asking you questions, the answers for which you already know. Okay, so we're going to look at the roadmap. We're going to look at the 7 mantras. Today is the subconscious mind, the connecting link. We'll do a meditation to lock what you've learned today in, because you're going out into the world. And I want you to focus and intentionally lock what you're learning in. Also be listening for a clarity that shows up from something that has confused you up until today. Today may be the day. Oh God, I never got that before. You see, out of confusion comes order. But very often, if it's too complex for us at the time we first hear it, we will not understand it. And that's why autosuggestion and repetition is the first law of learning, because those breakthroughs come after you hear it so many times, right? All right. Jay says he's the champion of success. There is no doubt. And then we will look at upcoming events. Okay, everybody ready? Here we go. This is something that you want to do each week. These are affirmation. A good fault, of course. Absolutely. Absolutely, Joshua. Well, on the other side of a fault is a success. So what are you choosing to look at? It always confused me why did I look and get worried about the people who said things about me that they didn't like me when there were even more people that liked me? Why do we focus on, and we'll have the answer today, why are we so worried about the few people that don't like us rather than focusing on the ones that do? The answer is within. So here's what I'm going to suggest to you. Well, let me see what 𝘠𝘩𝘪 says. Been around a lot longer than that. Yes, absolutely. Buddhism starts with the mind. Absolutely. Absolutely. I hope you've read Siddhartha's Siddhartha by Hermann Hesse. I love that. All right. Well, I'm so glad you're here. So what we do each week is we generate these affirmations. By doing it once a week, you slowly embed. If you generate it as though you believe it, like you're praying, you know how you are when you pray? You're kind of one-on-one with the universe and God, and you're, really speaking straight, and you're generating a lot of love and kindness. This is how you use affirmation that over time will embed that vibration into your body, and your body remembers. Right now, we're controlled by negative thoughts. That's our default for a lot of reasons, which I'll explain to you. So the basic premise of these, and I suggest that you go back and do this yourself once a week. I won't do it today, but these are the mantras that will build character along with everything else we're doing. We want to build conscious awareness to the point where it can deflect those automatic negative thoughts. We all have them. But what is the pattern? That's what we're doing here. We're using the exact process that gave you the things that scare you to death to give you peace and faith. It happened through a process, and our intelligence allows us to track and repeat the process because we have conscious awareness. The first one is to be your word. The next one is to be the one. Even if someone else agreed to do something, you're still going to be the one. You're not going to say, well, they said they would. And no, you're going to take the bull by the horns. You are going to complete all your tasks. And if you miss one, you set it again to complete again. You don't just let it go, right? You do not let anything interrupt your plans, right? Unless it's an emergency that only you can handle. You're motivated. You show up hungry and eager to learn, even if you don't feel like it that day. It's not my job to entertain you. It's your job to be hungry. I will say about that, though, that, in university, when there's a presentation, it's 80% content, 20% entertainment. Well, in this environment, it's 80% entertainment and 20% content, pretty much. So I sing to you. What can I say, right? Also, you stay focused. That's not letting anything interrupt your plans, that you show up hungry and eager to learn, even when you don't want to, that if you break a trust, that you clean it up and take responsibility right away. Things are confidential, but you'll know if you broke a trust. Sometimes it happens. And then to remember that I'm the mirror of your greatness. The more times I find something great about you, like a muscle, my own greatness grows. You can't grow your own greatness if you don't see greatness in others, because we are a projection of one another. These are all things for you to consider. There is no just one way. Okay. Here is the roadmap, what we've been doing. And look, we're on week 10. Isn't this great? Yeah. Radical self here. Yes. Accountability. That's exactly right. That's what it's about. And look, I'm going to use this word, and I feel a little shy because I very often stick my neck out way in advance of things happening. That I am a visionary, and I've taken a lot of grief over the years for embracing certain concepts that people hadn't caught up with yet. And one of them is metacognition, which is the ability to watch yourself think. I've been doing this for years. Anybody who's studied with me can do this, that actually can design the context and the point of view you are going to think in any situation, which means you must have the ability to shut off your negative beliefs, of which we have 6, every one of us, maybe more, but we have at least 6 that are running all the time from the subconscious mind. Oh, yes, right? Lots of fears. And they're so real because they were based on reality. What you don't know, and you know now, is when you resurrect the visualization through imagination of that fearful thing that happened when you were 7, because mind is a cellular activity, what comes with it is also the cellular vibration or the way you feel. So for anything negative, it feels lousy. Stop thinking it. How do you do that? Well, only one thought prevails in any given moment. What would happen if we could choose a positive thought? We can, by practicing it. So today we're going to do the subconscious mind, and next week we'll talk about our 6 basic fears. So you'll recognize them when they show up. We all have them. There's something to be learned with them, because the polar opposite of fear is faith, right? So we are moving toward faith. We are aspiring to be faithful to our ability and our deservability, to give ourselves credit, to give other people credit, that there is good in them. The size of the good you find doesn't matter. It's relative. Just finding the good outweighs the negative that you might have been thinking. And then in week 12, we'll condense everything. This is linear. And we started with 2 weeks on definite purpose. One goal, one compelling goal that you've never done before, that you're absolutely in love with, and that you will fight fire to get to. That means that when people come in and say it's a bad idea, and when you become fearful, which is natural, that you can override that with your desire and the faith that you've brought to your own ability and deservability, which takes time, all done by auto-suggestion, self-suggestion, a couple times a week. As long as it's in spaced, repetitive intervals over time, you will absorb it. Even coming here only once a week, you will absorb this. So in the comments, has anybody here, tell me something you've learned over the last couple of years that you now employ from any one of these lessons? Thank you, Joshua. Attention is the rarest and purest form of generosity. Absolutely. Let's see what this is. Hey, Mac Lobsher. Hey, you guys, noon tomorrow Eastern, Social Saturday live. I hope a lot of people really listen and replay until they get you. Oh, thank you. Basically, machine learning for the brain, or for the mind, I would say. Every now and then you need to update the code with what you have learned and update our own framework and thinking and delete out of date and detrimental thinking. Absolutely. You will not delete that detrimental thinking. You will choose a new view effectively, because you cannot, anybody who tells you, oh, you can delete these old beliefs. No, you don't. They just get quieter. And the power is you're choosing exactly what Mac is saying. Mac, I so appreciate your hopping on here. Hey, William Rochelle, I think you made it too. You will love this lesson, Bill. So thank you for that. It is true. And that's what we're doing here. We are creating new points of view. And here's something else that I am a little out of the gate on. People kind of laugh at this. We've been quantum jumping all along. The 5th dimension is right here. We've been in and out of it hundreds of times. You just didn't know what it was, or how it worked, or what the 5th dimension provides to you. So the 5th dimension basically has you focus in on a current identity and let nothing else interrupt you. Here's a quick example. You've got little kids and it's Saturday afternoon and they want to watch a movie. And everybody gets together. Okay, we're going to watch Bambi, right? But also we have Netflix, so we could watch Bambi. We could watch Lady and the Tramp. You notice I get the old ones. 101 Dalmatians. I mean, I know I'm aging myself. There's lots of new ones. But when the child goes into the studio or the den and the movie turns on, they're not thinking, well, maybe I want to watch something else, or, oh, I wonder whether my schoolwork is done. Or, oh, someone's outside playing. They are totally immersed in a different reality until it's broken by them or someone else. So when you have redeveloped your ability to focus and concentrate, the biggest missing I've found in 20 years in my clients, that the sensory overload of information has depleted our ability to focus on any one thing. And best results come doing one thing at a time. You know, those lists that say, oh, here are 10 things you can do to improve your reach. Well, if you try to do any more than one or maybe two of them, you're not going to end up doing anything because you can't focus long enough. None of us can. So there is a way to follow the same pattern, which is autosuggestion, so that you can focus on it again. Oh, yeah. The time is cooking along. So then we learned about imagination. There were two kinds. All of this is linear. So until you get what definite purpose is, don't even go to desire. It has to be something that compels you. It's in service to someone else. Yes, it can make you money. Okay. It's okay for you to live abundantly, but it needs to be heart-centered for others. And it has to be strong enough that when your natural fears come up, that you don't buckle and knuckle under. And that's usually what happens if you don't have a deep desire for the thing. It's your why that Simon Sinek talks about. You don't hold why and how at the same time. How is going to bring up fear because you don't know how. That's the key. You must pick something that you don't know how to do. When you do that, then you've disproven the fear that you can't do it, or that you've done it wrong, or that you're not smart enough, or that you could get sick. Whatever of the 6 basic fears come up for you. And so then we come all the way around to decision. Once you have one definite purpose, easy to make a decision. Well, you know, if something comes up, if I do this, is it going to take me toward my goal or not? If it's not, then you don't do it right now and you set a boundary not to do things that don't take you toward your current goal. But do it later. Most people that offer you opportunities, they'll be happy to have you when you're available. And if not, another opportunity will show up. Then we did persistence 2 weeks ago. Persistence, purpose, and desire are absolute requirements. You can manifest anything with those 3. But the more of these that you're able to employ and understand and use as you're thinking through things, the quicker your manifestation will occur. And then last week we did the 6th sense, which is intuition. This week, the subconscious mind. Next week, our 6 basic fears. And then home to start it all over again with a new theme. I don't know what it'll be. All right. So here is the information on the subconscious mind. Okay. Now, this is what they call the connecting link. This is the link to God and the universe. Consider that it is. Okay. We're not saying that it is. It's a pattern and a way of viewing it that may bring clarity to your thinking. It may not. If it doesn't, if you're confused, move on to the next point. Don't worry about it. So the key points are here, right? The subconscious records everything you're thinking, right? We can intentionally plant an idea in our subconscious mind. That's what we're going to do. When you achieve something that you've never done before, now you're planting, instead of a fear because you failed, an actual success that you are able and deserving again, which begins to outweigh your long-standing fear that we're not smart enough. What will people think of us? We don't look good. And that's only one of the 6 fears. It's working all the time, the subconscious. And it's the link to infinite intelligence. This is how you connect with God when you pray. It's through your mind and what you're thinking and the vibration in your cells. The universe will give you exactly the vibration you aspire toward, the vibration that you are in the most, the reality, the focus that you're in the most. Your results will match it. And this is how you communicate with the universe. All right, so there's a few truths here you can look at. Let me just get on here because we're a little... So I'm going to give you a really simple look at how the mind works. Let me just see what this looks like. Lay. Let's see what Lay says. Focus on the positive, but it can take time to shift. Absolutely. Absolutely. Just the way you learned how to ride a bike, fell, scraped your knee, right? There is no pill for this, right? You have to be ready and willing to be patient. And you may not be right now. And so what? Nobody can convince you that you need to do this. That's not their job. It's more about inspiring you to think, well, wow, what else do I know? Okay, so look, this is a model of the mind. And yes, we use the head, right? It's easier that way. But what I want you to see is that you really have 2 parts of your mind. On the left, you see the conscious mind, and you'll see an antenna. Those are your 5 senses. This is where the 6,000 complete thoughts come into your conscious mind. You become aware of them every day. Only the ones that are relevant to you make it in. The rest you kind of discard. And even the relevant ones are confusing sometimes, aren't they? Here is where you develop your mental muscles or your intellectual faculties that most people have no clue about. But that's the work we're doing. Building strength in these individual concepts and views so that when the negative shows up, that you can consciously choose a different view. But it's not easy, because when you're triggered and something scares you, it happens very quickly because there's no thinking there, right? You've been there so many times, you know, oh God, here it comes, right? If you got spankings as a kid, you already knew you were getting one before your dad even got home, right? You already worried yourself about it. Or a shot, it's going to hurt even before you got the shot. And then the doctor says, well, I've already given it to you. What are you crying for, right? Okay, so the conscious mind is known as the thinking mind. It brings in all your information, intentionally or by default. Under this, you want to know to turn off negative news or anything negative in the background if you become aware of it, because it's positive or negative or by default or intentional that you allow these thoughts in. Okay, now it's through the repetition that they impress into the subconscious mind. But what happens here is that you have 6 mental muscles that I call spiritual warriors. These are the muscles we're developing so that when something negative, when we react to something that we've never done before, but we're curious about it, but we're afraid to, these are the spiritual warriors that say, hey, wait a minute, you've done this before. You have plenty of background. They come to your defense. Without developing them, they atrophy, right? So they do you no good. Perception is how you view things. How would it be if you could change the context of your information and go from a room of physicians explaining what you do into a room of plumbers and never change a thing except the examples, which is the context? So you're looking through a different view. You're looking through the doctor view. How would a doctor see this particular concept? This is metacognition, and this is what you do when you practice it. And I bet all of you do this anyway. You just didn't realize what you were doing. You're in another dimension when you do this. You're actually speaking into the listening of the audience. That is extraordinary to do this. And just think about all those people in university who never know anything about this. They have no clue. because their teachers didn't know. And the teachers' teachers didn't know. So there's no practical application. There's no recognition of patterns other than a couple of deep breaths for the vagus nerve. And there are some, body things you can do to calm yourself down. But what is the source? Why do you continue doing this? And what can we do about it? So you've got perception, intuition, imagination, memory, reason, and will. Here's where I would add empathy. As you develop these mental muscles, these spiritual warriors, when something comes up for you that you really, really want to do, but you don't have a clue, not the first clue how to do it, but God, you're in love with it. This is where the fears come up. So what happens is these thoughts, these fears, whatever it is, through repetition, embed themselves into the subconscious mind, which isn't thinking. You can't reject anything in your subconscious mind. You can't see in there. It is the result of what you've been thinking and how you've been feeling the most. Now, you do know what you believe in by your results, because your results always match the vibration of what you believe about yourself. And unfortunately, most of us don't believe that we can do a lot. And that's where we're changing this. Now, this is where our habits are, and only one thought prevails. So it's important when you think of it to focus on the positive, to turn off the negative news in the background, to step away. You can do some visual things if you're in a room with people that are speaking negatively. Literally, you could do what Napoleon Hill did when he got stuck in a room. He closed his eyes and he imagined Venetian louvered blinds closing down, protecting his conscious mind. So he visualized that so that information would not get into his conscious mind. Sounds crazy, doesn't it? Yeah, but it works. And so just because we don't know how something works yet does not mean it's not working. Everything is already here. It's just up to us to figure out how it works and how we want to employ it. Now, this is more complex. All right, so this is a little deeper, and I'm not going to go in it too much, but for those of you, let me see if I can make this bigger for right now. I think I can. Yeah, here we go. There we go. Okay, so let me just save it. Okay. So this is the same thing, and this body is us. And what happens is the information comes into our conscious mind, right? And then it is filtered and released. It's filtered and observed by your intellectual warriors, right? Your intellectual muscles, your imagination, which brings in visualization, intuition, perception, memory, reason, and will. And I'm looking at empathy. Hey, Christy D, how are you? Mind is an activity. It's not an organ. So when you hear people collapse brain and mind is the same thing, it's not the same thing. One is an activity in your cells, and one is a physical organ. And that vibration occurs in every cell of our body. Okay. Then through repetition, what you see here is that the subconscious is depicted by the heart. The ancient Greeks called the subconscious our heart of hearts. This is where our beliefs are, our faith, our habits, our ego, our paradigms, our conditioning, our reprogramming is the strongest mind. It is not thinking, it is reactive. Then, based on how we're feeling, we will move our body into action at whichever vibration holds. Is it going to be negative or positive? And then our results will match that. So if you are unhappy with your results, how you live, your relationship, or you want something new or different, then you must create faith in your ability and deservability to do it. And that's where your definite purpose comes in, that it's got to be compelling. And you're the one who decides when this happens. All right, let me see if there's any questions here. Okay. So the last thing you said was Mac. Let me just make sure that I don't have this wrong here. I'm still dealing with the same silly. All right, Christy T is here. Okay, excellent. All right, so let's move on. We have 10 minutes left and a few more things to do. And which reminds me, okay, I got that already. So you see the difference here. Conscious is your thinking mind. You can reject information, step away, walk away. But this work we do when we're exercising our mental muscles, if you will, looking at different points of view, right, which is our perception, using visualization and imagination, all of these things protect which thoughts get pushed through to the subconscious. That's why it helps to be intentional when you can. Hey, Felipe. Oh, I'm so glad you do. Felipe, so glad you're here. This has been a juicy one so far. This is big on the subconscious mind and the conscious mind. And it's access to making the changes you want in your neural pathways, in your body, in your nervous system. And this is what's missing, is that people who are educated in psychology do not understand this. So they will tell you what happens in the brain. Oh, the endorphins, blah, 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 blah. They will tell you what happens in the body, but they cannot tell you what to do with your own thoughts to help heal yourself. And that's why this book is so phenomenal. Because, you see, this book shows a bunch of people who didn't know. And not only that, but they had something kind of going against them, a stigma, and they had a definite purpose, was to be more than what their diagnosis was. Okay, so I think you like this. Here are the 7 positive and negative emotions. Which are you focusing on? Now, the 7 positive emotions are responsive, conscious. Okay? That's desire, faith, love with 2 V's, sex, enthusiasm, romance, and hope as examples. The negative emotions are actually, these 7 positive feelings, but that's all right. We'll leave them as emotions right now. Then the negative ones are reactive. They're not thinking. They're automatically reacting without thought, and they're subconscious. Fear, jealousy, hatred, envy, revenge, greed, superstition, and anger. Choose when you can. When you become aware that you're triggered, when you become aware that someone has ticked you off, see if you can't stop it long enough to see what is happening. What are you thinking? As soon as you see what you are thinking, you can shift to the opposite. But if you don't ever notice it, you'll just go on reacting and being angry until one day you do. You're just too smart for who you're Oh my gosh. Okay, let's do a meditation. Okay, we're not quite done, but I want to take all of this and I want you to intentionally look at this or close your eyes and listen to what I'm sharing with you. Visualize it, embody it, pray it into yourself. And this is designed to bring you a positive result. And of course, if anything doesn't feel right to you, don't do it, right? Okay, here we go. Are you ready, everybody? And this is a big lesson today, a lot to understand. A replay works if you want to. Repetition is how you're going to get these concepts. Even if you just get one each time, it's okay. All right, everybody, sit back. This is a short meditation. And this is about planting a seed in your subconscious mind. So go ahead and close your eyes or focus on this beautiful picture. Now, in through your nose, take a slow, deep breath in and let it fall gently out through your mouth and very slowly. In the next few seconds, allow your body to settle as if every exhale softens you into a deeper awareness of yourself. Now, bring your attention to the quiet space behind your thoughts, the doorway to your subconscious mind, the part of you that's always listening, always recording, always creating. Now imagine a soft light glowing at the center of your chest. This light is your dominating desire, the definite purpose, the one goal, the intention, or the one change you want to bring into your life. See it clearly, feel it in its warmth. Let your feeling rise gently around it with excitement, gratitude, and certainty. With each breath, whisper inwardly, "This is mine. I accept it. I am ready." Your subconscious mind receives these words without question. It takes every thought you impress upon it and goes to work day and night to bring it into physical form. Now imagine that desire as a seed placed into rich, fertile soil. Your feelings are the water. Your faith is the sunlight. Your repetition are your daily thoughts, and they are the nourishment. Now watch the seed begin to open. Tiny roots begin to reach downward. A small shoot rising upward. Your subconscious mind is already responding. Feel a sense of connection, as if your inner world is linked to something larger, wiser, and infinitely creative. This is the bridge Napoleon Hill calls infinite intelligence. Trust that it is guiding you, shaping ideas, aligning opportunities, and moving resources toward you. Now take one more breath and affirm slightly as you do. My subconscious mind is working for me. My desire is growing. My results are unfolding. And when you're ready, gently open your eyes, carrying this quiet certainty with you. Okay, let me just do this real quick. Okay, now here we are getting ready for next week. Next Friday, we will do the epilogue, which is outwitting our 6 basic fears. And be thinking to yourself, why did he put this at the end instead of in the beginning? Would you rather have learned about the fears in the beginning? Or do you think it was better that they were left at the end? Next week, week 11, please join us. Tomorrow, if you're part of the 2350 network, we're doing Your Invisible Power by Genevieve Barond. And this is the woman who's the master of visualization. In 1927, this is when she wrote her book. And it is the exact blueprint to manifest what you want. So much fun. If you're a member of that network, we'd love to have you. On Monday, the 22nd of June at 11 a.m., Miss Linda Meyer will be here and we'll be talking about dealing and living with, living after and living before narcissist. A great topic. And we've all had narcissists in our lives, right? Gosh, I wish I had known about it before, right? But I know it now, so it helps a whole lot, right? And so it truly does. And with that, my friends, that completes today's lesson. I hope you've had a really good time. Let me just see what we have here. Let's see what Sharon Rose says. We've got a minute. Shadow work is critical. Waking up is step 1. Awareness, that's right. Cleaning up is step 2. Okay, being aware of it. Growing up is step 3. Intentionally holding multiple perspectives simultaneously with grace and peace. Absolutely love it. That's 5-dimensional. And I love how you explain it. And I know it was always here as we go crazy trying to figure out what it is. So thank you for that, Sharon Rose. She is one of our guest teachers on Monday, and she, as spiritual intelligence, is one of the most powerful things that we know the least about. Hey, Coach Carrie. Hey, Jackie Hallberg. Oh, have we had a day today? Yes, faith rides over fear. Absolutely. I'm so glad that you walk away with more. And even if it's just one thing, Felipe, one thing works, right? Absolutely. All right. Oh, you're so welcome. Can't wait to see you. All right, everybody. I think we are good. I'm going to turn off the banner for right now. Remember, if you know a man that is itchy to write a book, or at least be in a book, Men, Mindset, and Mental Health. Money, Mindset, and Mental Health. It's a men's anthology. So excited about this. So with that, I'll send you out with the beautiful outro created by Soul Media Live Productions as you breeze into a beautiful weekend. Remember, what you think, ultimately, you will hold in your hand if you think about it enough. And with that, I'll say, reach out to me if you need me. I'm here.
I woke up with fire in my soul, a vision burning bright, a goal to control. The road ahead ain't always clear, but I'm stepping forward, no room for fear. Each stair I climb, a lesson learned. From every fall, a lesson earned. The mind is a weapon, sharp and true. I'm forging ahead, there's nothing I can't do. Think and grow rich, that's the plan. With every step, I take a stand. Climbing the staircase of my dreams, fueled by the power of my schemes. Mind-focused heart on the rise. Achievement is the price I prize. Step by step I'm reaching high, tuning my mindset to touch the sky. The journey's tough, but I won't quit. I've got the drive, I've got the grit. Each level up, a new horizon, a world of possibilities in motion. I'm sharpening my thoughts, aligning my will, turning obstacles into a hills I can climb still. The power of belief, it's on my side. With every breath I'm fortified. I'm not just dreaming, I'm in the fight.